Shalom Israel. First and foremost, to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Kakadash, the ones the apostles, and all great millstone for teaching us His truth. Peace and blessings to the whole collective Israel and Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Hanfonish Hebrew. Bahashem means the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in the lesson, as seen in the title, Signs of Our Salvation. Going to be going to these chariot sightings that we're seeing that are popping up left and right on a day-to-day basis, especially as we progress later in days. You're going to see more and more of these so-called UFOs start to pop up, which is a sign of our deliverance, as well as a telltale sign that the devil's kingdom is coming to an end. Because when you go back to Revelation 12 and 7 to 8, 2nd verse 13, these chariots, these so-called UFOs, are going to have a role and a part in the destruction of this place, as well as these vehicles will be used in order to deliver the Lord's elect. Going back to Matthew 30, or 24 and 30, which we'll get later on in the lesson. But I have a few videos that I got just going to these recent chariot sightings that we've been seeing. And this one right here is a super clear sighting right here. And I believe like one or two more. And we'll dive into the scripture after that. And that'll be the lesson. So Lord will be edifying. Let's dive right into it. Keep it short. Look at that. And what's not as I mentioned, as we progress the last 10 days, you're going to see more and more of these chariots, which are these so-called UFOs today. You're going to see more and more of them start to pop up. Now you're starting to see them getting a lot lower, becoming a lot more, bold, You also see many articles come out of, military, personnel people come out saying that they have chariots over there, tampering with things that they have, And what's it goes to show we're nearing the end of this devil's kingdom, man. And that we are almost home. Seeing these chariots should be, a faith booster, man. Because once again, these vehicles will be used to deliver Yahweh Shemashai's elect. We hope and pray that we're of that number, man. But once again, also another end time sign that the devil's kingdom is coming to an end. So continue on.
Tiene tres luces. Ey. Y es circular para así como de lado. Sí.
It's over there in it says Roswell, New Mexico, which I believe over there in Roswell, there's a lot of chariot sightings that take place, especially going years back. There'd be a lot of sightings that take place over there.
No. Easy coffee. Look at the sky. You see in the front.
But you see that right there. And of course, you're going to have people in the comments obviously saying, it's a balloon, this and that. So I did some research. This is the poster of the video. So I did some research. The blimp that people claim this to be is not a blimp. The blimp was launched June 14, 2022. No blimp launched 5/17/2023, which was the video take place. So this is in the bunk as a blimp. I can't remember the name of the company, but they showed them deploying it. And this guy, fact checked it and said it wasn't. So ultimately, these people are ultimately afraid, man. They are scared. They're terrified. They want to believe that this is not real. So what's it now? Imagine coming to these last days, the sky is completely blocked out and filled with chariots, man, UFOs. As you see many videos coming out now, people are, completely just shaking up, freaking out, screaming. You're seeing these vehicles, and they're just maybe like one or two. Even sometimes a fleet. Now imagine when the whole sky is blocked out, especially when our Lord Yahweh Shai returns on that fathership, man. Man. But you see, he fact checked it right there. Now, it's not a blimp. And you can see a more clear close-up on this chair right here. People were saying this was a balloon. Which if it was a balloon, you would see it pretty much moving everywhere, man. This is like stationary right here. Look how close up this is, man. Because before, you'd see, people would record these chariots. Their phone would go blurry. They would not pretty much have a clear image of it. But now, as we progress in the latter days, you're seeing a lot more clear images, videos being taken, ultimately these chariots, these so-called UFOs, is dropping lower and lower. Look at that. And how could this be a balloon? It's not. It's not moving. See what the comments would say. That looked like a couple days ago going into this. Now it says, let's see. And people say it's a Mylar balloon. You're welcome. And of course, you have people, cracking up jokes, taking it as entertainment, man, as something to be made fun of. When you have these chariots be beaming people down and be turning to people to dust, man, say, hey, keep making jokes, man. Keep thinking this is not real. Keep calling this conspiracy theories. Think what you want, man, because very soon it will be made known. This is another video I came across right here.
Mirá. Alta luz,
And we're saying this is another telltale sign that we're nearing the end of this devil's kingdom, getting closer and closer to our Lord Yahweh's return, man. Getting closer and closer to our deliverance, which is, the main title of this lesson, signs of our salvation. Especially with just everything that's happened and taking place. Seeing the great awakening of our people, seeing these end-time signs, these end-time prophecies playing out before our very eyes. We are almost out of here, and Jake still wants to take this as a joke, man, as a game. You especially see the image that these devils, Esau Edom's trying to push within the movies and the comics, or whatever the case may be, trying to push that there's green little men in those vehicles. When in reality, they are dark-skinned men, angels, that are in those vehicles, operating them. And you see that right there. I didn't even notice that 144 bottom right, or near the middle of the the like button right here. 144.
Estoy viendo lucecita allá adelante.
Willing.
El video se ve zarpado. Buenísimo. Es un ovni,
Look at that. This is another one I came across just pretty much before I made this lesson. I just saw this one right here. And you probably see it super up close, man.
Whoa!
It's just crazy, man. And of course you have people, obviously making what's what I'm looking for? Excuses. Doing damage control. Said someone's trampoline. And I was gonna bring up this movie Nope right here too as a good example. So I joked because you see a few examples within these alien type of movies that these devils make, especially done with the movie Nope, where you have these chariots, these so-called UFOs, pretty much camouflaged in the midst of those clouds. And you'll see other similar videos like this one right here, where you have those chariots pretty much in the midst of thunderstorms, man. And you see this gigantic outline of a ship, And of course people are saying, look at that. Definitely a weather balloon. A tent. And what's that? These people are afraid, man. Look at this.
Whoa!
Play one more time. Look at that. And that ain't no trampoline, man. And of course, it's perfect timing that you see right there. That chariot's passing by and you see the light in the back can go off. That's not a coincidence. But let's continue on. Let's get these scriptures that came to mind, and we'll shut down from there. It's Luke 21, 25 through 28. Now it says, and there should be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars. We're seeing these signs in the heavens. You're seeing, mass chariot sightings. Signs in the sun and the moon, as we read off right here. You had a year ago, the planets aligned, blood moons, blue moons taking place. These things are taking so close, after another. So it's showing you it's just not happening by chance. And there should be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars, and upon the earth the stress of nation with perplexity, deceit, and the waves roaring, which you're also seeing riots and protests taking place pretty much all over the world. These things are only progressively getting worse and picking up. Once again, going to show we're nearing the end, as you see in the title, signs of our salvation. These are the steps that need to be taken in order for us to get to the kingdom. In order for our Lord Yahushua to return. Prophecy needs to play out. Verse 26, men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. So you have people freaking out, seeing these chariots, doing everything and that they can, to, create excuses, to try to do damage control, to say that's not real. Because ultimately, they don't want to believe it themselves, man. Verse 27, and then shall they see the Son of Man, which is our Lord Yahushua, coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now, what was that cloud speaking of? Those chariots, those so-called UFOs today. And that's the example that they used in order to describe, what they saw back then. And which you get in Psalms 1:4-3, which you get right here. Psalms 1:4-3, it's showing you what it's speaking of. And I say, who layeth the beams of the chambers in the waters? Who maketh the clouds his chariot? So it's showing you what the clouds are speaking of. Are those vehicles, man, those UFOs, that what they're called today. Now you can call them, they have, sorry. Now you have them calling them UAPs now, unidentified aerial phenomenons, or even USOs, unidentified submerged objects. So you have a few videos coming of probably submarines and just people that are out there on the ocean. They'll have tons of objects pop up on their radar. You can have those chariots popping up out of water and just observing them. Go right down. They're terrified, man. They are scared. These devils will stand no chance. Because they were I think it was a documentary, or it was like doing an interview with the people that were on that ship or that submarine. In fact, that's exactly what it was. But they were freaking out, man. Because they would pop up on the radar, and the chariots would pretty much just disappear off the radar. They'll pop up in and out of water. So these devils are scared, man. They're afraid. But I read this one more time. Who is the beam of the chambers in the waters? Who made the clouds his chariot? Who walks upon the wings of the wind? So they're just going to description of the chariots. And this way you also have these devils trying to do everything that they can in order to try to compete and go against, our Lord Yahushua. Trying to prepare for this attack that is coming. Trying to create, what's what I'm looking for? Aircrafts are able to compete and go against the chariots, the UFOs. That's why you even have them create a space force in the first place, man. Why do you think they made that? Psalm 68:17, I said, who the chariots of the Most High, 20,000, even thousands of angels. The Lord is among them, as in Sinai, in the holy place. So our Lord Yahushua is coming back with an army, man. The multitude, the host of heaven. The angels, man, that are in those vehicles, operating them. When you go back to Second Ezra, 13th chapter, you're going to have a lot of these chariots beaming people down, turning them into literal dust, man. Now, Zechariah 5:1-2 to add on to the description of these vehicles, these chariots. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. So this is going to the description of that so-called UFO, that chariot that they saw. Now, we got a few more scriptures, and we'll shout it from there. Not going to be a super long lesson. Matthew 24:30-31, as I was mentioning. Going back to the title of the lesson, signs of our salvation, because these vehicles will be used in order to deliver the Lord's elect, which you're about to see right here. Now it says, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man, which is the Lord Yahushua, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man Yahushua coming in the clouds of heaven. You see clouds. The Lord's coming back with an army is read in Psalm 68. Even when you go back to 2 Corinthians 13, goes into it, man. And also what these vehicles are going to be, are ultimately what they're here to do, play a role and a part in the destruction of this place, as well as to deliver the Lord's elect. Now it says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Verse 31, main point. And he shall send his angels, which are in those vehicles, his chariots, with a great sound of a trumpet, and he shall gather together his elect from the four winds. So there you go. And those vehicles will be used to do so. Now it's in one more time. He shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and he shall gather together his elect from the four winds. Now the four winds is speaking of the four corners of the earth, north, east, south, and west. Because we have been spread abroad the four corners of the earth, the four winds. Now it said from one end of heaven to the other, and there you go. So you have Jake everywhere, man. Now let's get 1 Corinthians 15 to add to that point. Also being beamed up into his chariots. Come to these last days. Lord will have that number. Now it says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, which would be pretty much near the destruction. Now it said, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed, receiving those new bodies. One more time, in a moment, twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. Just going to show how fast, it will be in a twinkling of an eye, man. In a moment, twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, that shall be beamed up in those vehicles, in those chariots. And we shall be changed, getting those new bodies, which you can go a little bit more into the whole chapter in 15th verse, or 15th chapter, Salakia, around the 50th verse. Super good book. Good chapter here, man. Because it goes into, obtaining immortality, overcoming death, And hey, those new bodies are needed, man. Now, we got two more scriptures, and we'll shut it out from there. This is Psalm 34 and 15. That says, the eyes of Yahweh Shema Shai, which were the eyes of the Lord, the angels, man. The eyes of Yahweh Shema Shai are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry, as well as scripture also mentioned in Ezekiel 9 and 4. Put a mark upon their foreheads of, those that sigh and that cry for all the abominations. Like go on with it, paraphrasing. So Lord hears our cries, in our prayers, man. That's why you go back to Matthew 24 and the 22nd verse. The Lord is hastening those days, man. It's where you're seeing especially so many things happening. You're seeing more chariot sightings. You're seeing, more just end time signs, man. Showing you we're almost out of here and we're almost home. Now let's shut it down with Romans 13 and 11. Lord was edifying lesson. And the Lord got the point across in that knowing the time, now it's high time to wake out of sleep, not physically, but spiritually, man. Wake up, repent, man. Seek out Yahweh Shema Shai before it's too late. That's why, going back to the scripture, I believe, book of Ecclesiastes, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, man. Make no delay. Especially with how close we are nearing to the end, And seeing these chariots, is a sign of that, man, that we're nearing the end. For now, there's salvation nearer than we believe. We're almost out of here. It's nearer than we believe, man. So showing you we're almost out of here, man. We're almost home. And this place is about to be destroyed very, very soon. And as I mentioned earlier, seeing the chariots is a sign of that, man. Going to show the devil's kingdom is coming to an end. As we're getting closer and closer to our Lord Yahweh's return and our deliverance, man. So Lord's will, it was an edifying lesson. Something quick through the spirit. Saw a few videos going to the chariots and was make a lesson out of it. And Lord was edifying. Lord, I got to put across. So I do want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash, the one of the apostles, and also great millstone for teaching us this truth. Peace and blessings to hope like the visible and shalom. See you next one, Lord one.